Hey, what's going on, comic book community? Now, I want to welcome you back to another comic book haul, which just so happens to coincide with my second year anniversary making YouTube videos and showing off books and contributing to the community as a whole. Now, it has been kind of a long month, just trying to find some decent books to add to my collection, having to travel long distances, most of the time not being able to find anything, and just the inflation holding me back, and most of the time just going and not being able to find anything. Now with these books that I managed to gather, it's I've had to travel long distances and most of the time not being able to pay off. But it all started at an antique mall where I just happened to drive up, which happens to be almost an hour away, and it was a big buzz. But for TMNT fans, I did manage to find a Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis, which collectors are willing to pay anywhere from $60 to $80 for this game. And this is kind of in decent condition. It just happens to be my second copy of this game, and it's in much better condition than the one that I have, and I only managed to pick it up for $20. But now onto the actual comics. The Peacemaker #1, his first mini series. I kind of have been just on that Peacemaker kind of kick it, but I kind of feel that I didn't get my money's worth. But that's on me because I didn't read the description when I bought this book off of eBay. Um, Now the biggest key factor is that the cover is detached, which I didn't happen to catch when I was bidding on the book. And I mean, I kind of broke even on this because I did pay what it goes for, but I'm kind of disappointed on that. However, it is a Charlton original and not the modern reprint. And then for these next set of books, I managed to travel to a comic book store that I haven't been to in almost a year. But I have been keeping up with it because they managed to post regularly on their Facebook page of when they happen to get new books. And then, like, this particular update, if you happen to see their background, they had a whole bunch of She-Hulk key issues up on their wall, but when I managed to drive up there, they were all snatched up. Yeah, but I did manage to get these books here. First up is Batman Confidential #26, the first appearance of King Tut. And what's funny is that most of the characters from the Adam West show somehow always managed to find their way into mainstream continuity, but it took almost 4 decades for this character to actually show up in a mainstream comic book. Next up is Birds of Prey #37, the first appearance of the Condiment King, who appeared on the animated series. I just picked this one up because I happen to like the cover, and I did like the games Batman Arkham City, the game cover variant. Uh, Justice League #23.1, the lenticular dark side cover. Batman #488, the prelude to Nightfall. It happens to have Azrael on the cover. Now this next book, I've actually been on the lookout since he first appeared in the Justice League movie, but I was never really comfortable with the prices, and the condition just wasn't right. However, one of the big key factors of why I actually picked this book up is that it was actually autographed by the main man himself, who created the original Green Lantern, Martin Nodell. It's Green Lantern #19, the first appearance of Yalinger, which happens to appear on both versions of the Justice League movie. Now, unfortunately, Martin is no longer with us, but this is what I happen to pick this book up for, only $1.99, which is kind of like a good deal for me, getting a character I was looking after, plus having it signed by the original creator. Now, these next set of books I happened to pick up at a half-price books when I got off of work early one day and just had the time to spare. First up is Spawn #32. It's nothing special. It's just finding a random spawn out in the open where they don't keep it behind the glass case for anywhere from $15 to $20. I got this for half off. Next up is Batman Annual number 25, the second print variant, which apparently goes anywhere from $15 to $20, and it's kind of sought after because it kind of retells the origin of Jason Todd and how he became the Red Hood. Star Wars General Grievous number 2. This one happens to be a newsstand, but the funny story is that for some reason the guy took it upon himself to charge me the Canadian price when here in America this book was only valued at $2.99, but he took it upon himself to charge me $4.99 for it, which that was kind of funny. But it is a newsstand, so I was like just willing to pay the $2.50 plus tax for that. I can't believe I've managed to find this one. Ooh, Barracuda. His first appearance here in Punisher number 31. Now, what's funny is that I kind of was watching a rerun of The Big Bang Theory with the Stan Lee episode, and something like kind of caught my attention where I think Stan Lee was making an appearance at a comic book store and he was giving autographs out, and they were going on about a whole conversation where Sheldon said that he wanted Stan Lee to sign his Batman book, but then Howard said something about Stan Lee never had anything to do with Batman. But this next book kind of contradicts that whole conversation. Let's just imagine Stan Lee's Batman, his own unique version of the character, and this was back in like early 2000, 2001, almost 6 years before that the Big Bang Theory was ever created. So I guess that kind of disproves the experts, a little schmuck like me. This next one was just a birthday pickup for me. The Amazing Spider-Man number 656, the Mark II spider armor debuts in this. It was like at this time where Spider-Man was more like a mini Iron Man, where he was just having suit upgrades left and right, but I am on the lookout for those. Now, I kind of went back to the cool shop that opened up a couple of months ago, and it just so happens that they brought in a new collection, but I was actually saving up for the first appearance of the Suicide Squad in The Brave and the Bold. I believe it's number 25. But when I got up there, apparently they rotated their wall books, and one of the owners was at a convention that weekend, and he just managed to take that book with him. I don't know if he sold it or not, but if they managed to bring it back, I want to get my hands on that one. But I did manage to find these set of books right here. Spider-Man 2099, that's just a filler issue, along with Spectacular Spider-Man number 215. That's a cool Scorpion cover. And this is my second copy of the second series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 12, which is very low printed run because nobody really paid attention to the second series. But here's one of the biggest books that I managed to pick up, and I had no intention of it, but like nobody even really knew what it was, because when I was talking to the guy, when he picked up the collection, apparently he just assumed they were second or later printings, but this just happens to be the first printing. It's Pokemon number 1, The Electric Tail of Pikachu. Now, I did give Bullseye Comics like a heads up of when like the various printings when it comes to Viz Comics, and here's like one of the ways that I've learned after doing some research. So with this particular issue number 1, the way you can tell that it's a first printing is that it'll usually say in between where it says Japanese version and printed in Canada, the printings would appear right above the printed in Canada, and sometimes it'll be written below. But if you have like the later versions of this where it advertises like video games or the home video sales, they managed to actually move this section down here, and it'll usually be written on the bottom. However, when it comes to this particular issue of Pokemon, there's actually a lot of different versions and in different conditions. So from what I noticed is that between the second and seventh printings, it would be written right above the printed in Canada. However, starting with the eighth printing, that's when the anime started to take off, especially here in the United States. They started advertising it down here. But then starting, I believe, with printing number 19, which was when they were started releasing the home videos, it actually came with an insert that was up here in this corner. So if you're going after a particular printing, you have to make sure that it has to have the insert in it, and that you're not buying like a counterfeit or an incomplete version. But that's how I managed to find the different printings of this. So from what I gathered is, uh, if it's missing the barcode, more than likely that's anywhere from an eighth to a 10th printing, because those were considered reprints when they were distributed in the 4 packs. Now, it's kind of disputed how many printings are actually out there, but I know for sure that there's a minimum of 15 printings of this. But I can't believe that the guy actually believed, he thought that he had a later printing, but this happened to be a first printing. However, like, one of the disappointing things is that it's not in the best of conditions. My personal grading, I would put it anywhere from a 7 to a 7.5, because they do have a little bit of spine stress, but it's not color breaking. And this book can go anywhere from $150 to $200, and I only managed to pick it up for $8.99. So yeah, that's my haul for this month, and hopefully you guys have learned a little bit of something, and you guys just enjoyed the books that I picked up this month. And I just want to say thank you guys for continuing to watch, support, comment, and you guys keep showing off your books. All right, take care.